This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Hello and welcome, everybody. We are back. High school basketball is live on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Ready for game 2 of day 2. First boys game of the day, the Edmond North Huskies and the Norman High Tigers. A really fun Friday afternoon matchup between two teams that are 1-0 in this year's Titan Classic. Josh Calloway on hand here at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse, joined alongside by Jordan Ray. Got the day started on the girls' side with a Dell City win over Putnam City. Now starting things on the boys' side with Edmond North and Norman High, a couple of 6A schools. Jordan, this should be a pretty fun matchup here on paper. We're excited for this game. Good players on both sides. Two teams that are having great seasons. Two teams that won their openers yesterday. A lot to be excited about, a lot to like about this tilt between the Huskies and the Tigers coming up here in just moments.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I definitely want to mention is the coach for Norman, Corey Cole. I have known him for almost 30 years. I first met him in the summer of '95 at Oklahoma Christian, where he just finished playing and had an outstanding playing career. And it was a post-up camp because that's all I could do is be a post. And I've known him ever since. And I haven't kept up with him closely ever since, but I know our paths have crossed many times. They're going to pass again today, so I'm very excited about that.
Should be fun. We're looking forward to this game and one of the highlight games of day 2 right here, and we're excited to bring it to you on OSN. I want to make sure we thank our title sponsor for this year's 2025 Titan Classic on OSN, which is J.R. Rowlett Realty. Thinking of buying or selling your home, this is your guy, J.R. Rowlett. Call him at 405-445-8971. Starting lineups for this afternoon's ballgame presented by Dynamic Health Clinic. At Dynamic Health Clinic, Dr. Coffin specializes in athletic injuries, able to get athletes back in action very quickly using a system called Advanced Muscle Integration. Play better, recover faster at Dynamic Health Clinic. First, for the Norman Tigers, who will be the road team here this afternoon at Titan Fieldhouse. Number 2, Bo Billingsley. I'm excited to see this kid play. 6'1" junior. Number 3 is Montrell Combs Pierce, a 6-foot even junior. Number 5, B.J. Randall, a 6'3" senior. Number 22, Isaiah Amos, a 6'6" senior. And number 24, rounding it out, Matthew Kalinsky, a 6'3" senior. And like you said, Norman coached by their athletic director as well in the great Corey Cole. As for the Edmond North Huskies, who we saw yesterday early on take care of business against Norman North, number 1, Chauncey Cravens, a 5'10" sophomore. Number 2, Zayden Best, who hit many a three-pointer yesterday, the 6'1" senior. Number 22, Logan Knoll, who was fantastic in that win yesterday, the 6'6" senior. Freshman 6'5", number 23 is Jarrell Copeland. And rounding out the 6'5" senior, number 30 is Brody Smith. And the Huskies are, of course, coached by Scott Norris. Edmond North, the back-to-back state champs in 2022 and 2023, and have a very good team again here in 2025. Norman, the road team, like we said, they're going to be in their road black uniforms with orange trim, white Norman on the chest, and numbers front and back. Edmond North with the home whites this time around with the baby blue numbers, the script Navy Huskies on the front. Should be a fun matchup. We're excited to be here with you. Glad you found us on a Friday afternoon at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse, Game 8 of this year's tournament.
Norman, by the way, in their district, they are 6-1, a half-game lead on Moore and Choctaw. So they are doing very well, 10-4 record overall. And that's in the 6A2, which is a West district. Edmond North in 6A4 and East district is 6-2 behind Broken Arrow and tied with Sand Springs. So both teams in good position to host a regional and perhaps make it to state. They would not play in state until then. There's no way they can be in the playoffs early, but this is definitely two teams who could play in the state tournament.
Two really good teams. We're excited to have it here on OSN. Norman wins the opening tip. Step back three to get it started. Clackamas, Montreal Combs Pierce. The first Bobby Lewis Insurance 3-ball of the day. We got it early as that triple in the corner gets the Tigers on the board first.
Didn't hesitate. A contested three. I remember that name, Combs Pierce, from 2 years ago, and good start for him.
Here's Knoll, who was so good in that win over Norman North yesterday. Feeds it to Brody Smith, who's just he's a senior, excuse me. Jarrell Copeland, the freshman in the starting five for the Huskies. Here's Best, who can shoot it. Puts it on the floor in the lane. Has to pick up his dribble and kick it back out. That was well defended there by the Tigers. Didn't give him anywhere to go. And Smith has his pocket pick this time. This is Combs Pierce. Hit the three a moment ago. Start the break. Left-hand layup is good. Fast start for the Tigers. By the way, in the lineup for Norman, number 11, Attic Saniers. We didn't read him in the starting five, but he's in there, number 11, the 6'2 junior.
It's a switch. We were told it was the same starters as yesterday.
Also have another one. No, that's the only one. So we're missing, I believe it's number 5, BJ Randall, not in the lineup, and it's number 11, Attic Sanders in there for the Tigers. Here's Cravens. Scoop layup is good. Boy, that was slick by the sophomore Chauncey Cravens. And it gets the Huskies on the board for the first time. 5-2 as they trade buckets there.
Both teams have guards who can score in traffic.
Here's Kalinsky just backing down Knoll and putting that home. Well done by the senior Kalinsky. Just kind of shrugged off his man there and laid it home. Fast start for Norman. Knoll underneath, pass deflected. That was Billingsley disrupting that. Leads to a break for the Tigers. Euro step move by Amos, and he's fouled. And the first trip to the Toonie Bias Houses charity stripe for Isaiah Amos. Toonie Bias Houses, we buy homes in any condition. If you or someone you know needs to sell a home for any reason, please call today for a cash offer. 405-931-3046. First foul of the day on either squad. It goes on Brody Smith. And Amos hits the first free throw.
This is kind of becoming very similar to what it was like for Edmond North yesterday, Josh. They were down early to Norman North, and they didn't really settle in. They didn't take the lead, I don't think, until the end of the second quarter, and then they never relinquished the lead.
So Amos hits it. It's a fast start for the Tigers. They have an early 9-2 lead. Cravens, who has Edmond North's lone bucket, handles the ball here. Goes to his left. Now he gets a screen from Smith. He'll give it up to him. Smith in the corner. Copeland, the freshman, for three. Clackamas. Well, Gerald Copeland is a very exciting freshman player, lefty, who can shoot, do a little bit of everything. Hit that one.
Edmond North just needs to hang around right now. That's what they did against Norman North.
Yeah, weather the storm.
Yeah, went on the big run in the third quarter.
There's Billingsley.
What
a great
pass.
Cut underneath.
Let me check. I think that was between the legs. Let's see. We're going to get the replay here.
That was Attic Sanders.
No, it was not quite between the legs, but still a great pass.
Definitely a great pass. Billingsley finding Sanders with the lay-in. Norman's offense, crisp start, and they lead at 11-5 just a few minutes in. Here's Best. He'll give it up right side Cravens with Billingsley watching him. Now we're over to Knoll in the corner working on Amos. This is a fun matchup right here. Knoll going to try and back him down. He'll have to kick it out. Well defended again. Smith on the block. Working on Kalinsky. Turnaround shot. Can't quite get the roll. Rebound ripped down by Amos. That was well defended by Norman on that possession. Tigers have it back up by 6.
It's clear watching this game that Edmond North does not have the size advantage against Norman that they did against Norman North.
Billingsley step back three off the side of the rim. No good. Rebound will go out on the baseline. Go back over to the Huskies.
So how then will Edmond North attack? And I think it's, a good idea for them to get the ball in the hands of Cravens quite a bit and let him create.
Smith handling it here. Landed off to Best. Here's Copeland, hit that three a moment ago. Cravens being watched by Billingsley, another fun matchup. Knoll has it on the elbow, and he's bumped and fouled by Kalinsky. If you weren't with us yesterday, Logan Knoll was everywhere for Edmond North in that win over Norman North.
Kalinsky's got some big arms on him, too.
Here's B.J. Randall into the game for the Tigers. He'll replace Kalinsky after he got dinged for his first foul.
And
Give another
Weaver.
late sub here. We're going to get Gideon Holt Jr. into the game. He's going to replace Sanders for the Tigers.
Weaver coming in early for North, the 7-footer.
The big man, 6'11". Did some really nice things in his minutes yesterday in that win over the Timberwolves.
Now, he will have a size advantage inside.
Oh, yeah. Left-hand shot by Knoll, who is a primary lefty. Left it short.
Couple of good looks in the post for Edmond North, but again, Norman's bigger. They can contest those shots better. So it's been a harder time for them to finish right now. They got to get accustomed to Norman's size on defense.
Billingsley lost from it and got it back and somehow split those defenders. Layup didn't go, but Amos there for the easy cleanup.
Yeah, he just drew a crowd, and so no one was there to box out Amos.
Right. 13-5, strong start for Norman. Now a turnover for the Huskies. That might be a break, considering that throw that could have led to a transition if you want to look at the positive side, but another turnover for the Huskies.
It's why you're taught when you try to save a ball, if you don't know where to go with it, you throw it towards the basket you're trying to score at.
Hope for the best.
Yes.
13-5 lead for Norman, 3-minute mark of the first quarter. Billingsley handling it. He'll go to his right, working on Cravens. Now Randall being watched by Knoll, gives it back to Billingsley. Combs-Pierce, who had the scoring start at the very beginning of this game with that quick three. And that's going to be a travel as he kind of just tripped over his feet there.
Kind of a late call for the travel, but called nonetheless.
And the right call.
And that was just good defense by Best staying with him. Moved his feet real well. Again, you're going to start for these 6A schools. You better move your feet well on defense.
So Huskies get a stop. Here's Weaver. Nice pass across to Best for three. Clackums. Bobby Lewis three ball for Zayden Best. We mentioned he hit some really timely threes in that win yesterday, and he gets one there.
Credit Weaver for
good find.
Yeah. Again, inside out. That's what Edmond North's really good at. They go inside, and then they can find outside offense, so they can stay inside and try to score.
Billingsley puts on the floor, working on Cravens. Turnaround shot at the elbow. Back iron, no. Rebound comes out to Amos, but they're going to get a foul here. I presume this is on Amos, and it is.
Pushed off on Weaver. And right now, Edmond North's doing a good job staying with Bo Billingsley. He's not able to get much separation.
So some more subs here for Norman as they're going to get, it looks like Sanders back in the game along with number 10, Kamari, and Franklin, a senior, off the bench for the Tigers. Kalinsky also back in. In for Edmond North is Cooper Shue, 6'2 senior. Don't think we saw him at all yesterday. But getting in some first quarter minutes here this afternoon. Here's Cravens going to his right. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul on the Tigers. This will be on Holt. Getting into Cravens a little bit there. Third foul on the Tigers.
Edmond North, one of the reasons they've won recent state titles and almost won a third. Coach Norris has them play very patient in the half court. They rarely take bad shots, and they haven't taken bad shots here yet. They just missed some good ones or some okay shots, but not bad shots.
Cravens, just a sophomore for this Edmond North team, and he can really handle the ball. Very exciting young player. Got a couple of those on this Edmond North team. Takes a double team, he'll give it up. Ooh, a little bit of a dangerous pass. Best able to run it down, though. Gives it back to him. Cravens explodes. Tried to feed it to Weaver. Somehow ended up with Knoll, who goes through some bodies. Layup wouldn't go. Ends up back to him, and there it goes. So not once but twice, Logan Knoll was Johnny on the spot there, and he ends up getting a layup out of it.
Well, you got to credit Weaver for staying with it. He kind of helped deflect that ball to Knoll. Weaver's giving them some good minutes right now.
13-10 lead, poked away by Knoll, but Kalinsky able to scoop it up. This is Franklin. Left-hand layup is swatted by the big man. Norman able to keep it. That'll happen. You go around Jake Weaver. That shot will go, though, for the Tigers.
Yeah, B.J. Randall, I don't know why he didn't start because he's playing now. And
yeah.
Showed he can hit that mid-range shot, the turnaround.
Final 10 seconds of the quarter. Cravens is at the top. Zayden Best. Crossover move. Final seconds of the quarter. Got to get it up. This will count. Oh, boy. Good effort considering that was a really tough shot, but it didn't go. That's going to end a very entertaining first quarter. Norman with a early lead over Edmond North, 15-10 after one. You're watching the Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Back at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse, Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Make sure we thank our first half sponsor as we get back to action here, which is Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings offers BOGO wing deals every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't miss out. 5500 Tinker Diagonal in Del City. Second quarter, here we go. Edmond North trailing Norman early, 15-10. As Cravens handling the ball, gets it up to Weaver. Right side, Zayden Best will go down the baseline. Pull-up jumper, got it. That was a nice shot by Zayden Best, and the Huskies are back within one score at 15-12.
Zayden Best, he can also create shots.
Oh, yeah.
Similar to how Cravens can.
Billingsley for three, left it short. Rebound is loose on the floor now. Bodies everywhere. I think we're going to get a tie-up. Arrow keeps it down here with Norman.
You know, Weaver's getting, I wouldn't say extended minutes yet, but he came in the first quarter, which we didn't see yesterday. His value on offense is not in the low post, but he's someone you can just get in the high post near the top of the key and throw the ball high to and move off of that. And that's been very good for Edmond North. He gets this rebound.
Yeah, turnaround shot for Billingsley didn't go. Weaver able to run it down. Best will pump fake and drive. Here's Best, pulls up, jumper, got it. Banked it home. Been a nice first half for Zayden Best. He's got 7.
I love it when players use the backboard at that angle. Not enough do. You know, you don't have to go all the way to the basket to get a high percentage shot. Get to a spot close to the basket along the side. Not along the baseline, but along the side there, and use the backboard as Norman commits a turnover.
Yeah, foul away from the ball there. And now we're going to get mass substitutions here as Weaver and Shu are going to come out. Copeland Smith back in for Edmond North. Meanwhile, for Norman, looks like we're going to get Amos back in the game, who is Norman's biggest player at 6'6".
It won't all show in stats, but Weaver gave Edmond North really good minutes, and we'll see how they play without him, if they can still protect the paint as well.
Best for three didn't go, but he's hit and fouled on the shot. So Zayden Best is going to go to the line and shoot 3 here for Edmond North with a chance to put the Huskies in the lead after that slow start.
Once again, Josh, the script has flipped.
Yep.
Edmond North not starting out well, and then they start to get things in place there. They adjust really well. And Coach Norris might be, he might be the best 6A coach, maybe the best coach in the state.
Definitely up there.
He's got the hardware now, but
consistent program.
You know, there's a time when Edmond North was not a very good place to be at for basketball.
So Best hits the first 2, putting the Huskies into the lead, for the first time.
Of course, they had a very good coach with Terry Evans, who also won hardware at Midwest City High School. Before Terry Evans, it was a job where you had a lot of coaches just go there 1 year and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Norris, on the other hand, I think he's been there since the 2018-2019 season, so we're talking about 7 years now.
Right. Splitting the defenders and going right to the rim and laying it home was Montrell Combs-Pierce. Nice play there, ties us back up.
He got things started scoring-wise for Norman, and they needed something on offense as they've been on a bit of a tailspin.
Smith will hand it off to Cravens. Billingsley hounding him. He'll have to back it out and kind of set something up here. Puts on the floor, left side to Best, who's having a really nice first half. He's got 10 points. Underneath to Knoll. On the block, working on Kalinsky. Turnaround shot for Knoll. Can't get the roll. Rebound ripped down, though, by Smith. He'll go strong to the rim, and he's fouled.
Smith is really good at when Knoll's in the post. And, again, it's not great spacing, but it's actually effective because he's in position for offensive rebounds. And this may be something that Corey Cole talks about as he will call a 30-second timeout. But we have not seen for Norman North, we haven't seen Knoll get going yet. I don't know if he scored. But, again, when he posts up and he takes a decent shot and he misses, Smith's defender will often find himself under the basket because he wants to go help.
Yeah.
If Knoll cuts to the middle. And when Smith's defender does that or just stays under the basket, that's when Smith can seal him and get in good offensive rebounding position.
Appreciate you being with us on a Friday afternoon. Edmond North and Norman High, game 2 of day 2 of the 2025 Titan Classic. Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray here at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse. We'll flip back over to the girls' side after this game with Ed Memorial and Collinsville coming up. That's a set for a 3 o'clock tip. Tracy Mussett will slide back into the chair alongside Jordan, who's the Iron Man of this tournament, as Smith hits the first one.
It's nothing like the state tournament last year.
That's true. We did 6 games last year at the Lloyd Noble Center, which, hey, we're not going to complain. All those Mid-Del teams making it that far is always fun, but it was a lot.
Today, I will be taking a game off, just not yet. I was about to take this game off, and I was like, no, this
actually, you know what?
Too good of a matchup
Maybe
here.
The best game of the day.
Exactly.
19-17, your score in favor of Edmond North. Tigers have the ball back. Randall hands it off to Amos, who goes right side, Combs-Pierce. Back to him, now in the corner, Kalinsky.
They dared him to shoot.
It won't go. Like I said, they gave him room. Rebound, though, pulled down by Billingsley. Buys Norman a second opportunity here.
Billingsley's been kind of quiet. He was awesome against Sand Springs.
Billingsley, just a junior, but a guy looked at as a next-level player for these Tigers. He has the ball here with his left. Nice pass to Amos, who goes right to the rim strong and lays it in.
Now that's vintage Billingsley there, the way he can create off a pick and roll. We're going to see a replay of that. He does it going to his left. Good execution.
Nice. Yeah, whistles here. Not sure what that was for. Might just be to let Cravens tie his shoe. Now we're back to it. 19 all, back and forth we go. We are at Titan Fieldhouse. Both these teams are 1-0. Reminder, it's not a traditional bracket. It's a round-robin format. So this is a huge game in the standings, if you will, to try and win this thing. Loser almost certainly has no shot. Winner, meanwhile, obviously going to be in good shape at 2-0. Smith gives it up to Best, who's guarded by Amos. He'll give it back to him now at the top. Handoff, Zayden Best. Guarded by Kalinsky, crossover move. Oh, some nice handling there. Swings it around to Copeland. Copeland pull up. Mid-range jumper. He couldn't quite get the roll. Thought he might get the friendly bounce, but he didn't.
Yeah, even though Copeland's a lefty, he could have used backboard at that angle.
Yeah.
Again, like Best does, so that's what he probably should have done.
Randall underneath to Amos. Turnaround shot with his left doesn't go. Good
great
there.
position. Great position. Just it wasn't close on the shot, though. I don't know if he's a lefty. Maybe that's why it was an offhand shot for him.
And Cravens kind of was losing his footing there. Smartly just throws it off the thigh of Amos to save the possession. Weaver back in the game. He'll replace Smith.
You see Norman loves to double team on any screen and roll action. That's why Weaver coming back, and he can help you with that because he's kind of like an outlet for you. If nothing else is going well, you lob it up to him. Norman doesn't even try to steal it to him when you throw it to him high enough.
Weaver on the wing.
Just a good facilitator in that spot.
Yeah. Copeland lost a moment, able to get it back. He'll drive lefty all the way to the rim, puts it in, but that's a charge. As sliding in was B.J. Randall. There's no restricted area in high school hoops. That might have been close if there was. But nevertheless, it's a charge. And a good play by Randall.
It's when you need to kind of shift your angle a little bit if you can, but a lot of players will just be like, I'm just going to go hard, and maybe I'll draw a foul. Maybe I'll be called for a foul. And in this case, he was called for a foul.
First foul on Copeland. Also the first team foul on the Huskies here in this second quarter. Tigers have it back and take the lead with a bucket. Here's Amos working on Weaver. A couple of big men going at it here. Poked away. Randall able to save it. Gives it back to him. Fires to the cutting Billingsley. Underneath layup is good. That was pretty.
What a great cut.
Nice tough finish as well.
And the thing is, you had Weaver guarding the post player. You didn't really need to look away from Billingsley or not pay attention to him more.
Cravens. Oh, nice
ball
pump fake, but then he missed the layup. He got the separation needed, but then just left it short. Billingsley racing down, handoff, Randall for three, clackums. Bobby Lewis 3-ball, Bo Billingsley with some nice offense to get Randall that clean look, and he hit it.
Billingsley's hitting up now.
Yeah.
He's cutting the basket, he's getting assists.
Thinking the same. 5-point lead for the Tigers. Cravens off a screen from Weaver. That's going to be a moving screen on the big man. And a foul.
Billingsley sold that by, his head flopping back, and he's got that hair that he moves, you see it.
Do you think that helps having a little bit longer hair? Sell those?
I don't know if it helped there because I don't know if that's what the ref noticed who called it. It was a decent call because Weaver was kind of rolling to the basket, but that's what he was trying to do. He wasn't really even trying to set a screen.
Tigers have it back up by 5. A little bit of momentum right now for Norman. Here's Amos. Weaver did a good job to come over and strip that, and it goes off of his leg out of bounds. Turnover.
Yeah, Weaver, instead of trying to block the shot, chose to reach in there and knock the ball on the way up, and it was a good defensive play by him.
Constantly having to guard from calling Jake Weaver Luke Weaver, who was the closer for the Yankees last year. I had to catch myself a couple of times on that.
I feel like there's another Luke Weaver. That name just sounds familiar. I don't know from where, though.
Final 2 minutes of the first half. Here is Jake Weaver working on Amos. Again, the big man battling spin move. He left it short. It was pretty, but he didn't hit the shot. And Norman gets another stop. So Evan North's gotten a little cold offensively. They've been stuck on 19 for a while.
I think it's a 7-0 run for Norman.
Correct. Best had his hand right over the eyes there, it looked like, of Combs Pierce. This is Holt, left side Billingsley. He's going to go ahead and fire from deep. Left it short. Rebound. Oh, Knoll thought he had it, but Randall poked it away from him and led it right to Combs Pierce, who was just hanging out by the rim. Easy lay-in. 9-0 run for the Tigers. Nice pass here, though, to break it up as Cravens finds the cutting Knoll. That's Logan Knoll's first bucket. Again, he was a monster in yesterday's win over Norman North. Gets into the party there.
Again, in 6A basketball, you got teams well coached who know when to cut, when to try to sneak one under the defender. We've seen it. We've seen both teams do it.
Yeah.
The two guys that won player of the game yesterday both did it.
Randall, meanwhile, hits a Bobby Lewis 3-ball. He's hit a couple here now in this second quarter. And the Tigers' offense just kind of free-flowing, looking very comfortable in this second quarter. They've got an 8-point lead. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Edmond North could probably use a bucket here just to recoup a little momentum before halftime. Best, he'll go strong to the rim. He got it in the foul. Big first half for Zayden. Best continues.
Boy, he just went through 3 or 4 defenders, too. Just very crafty move. You see the replay there.
That's 12 points now for Zayden Best, and he's got a free throw coming here to try and get himself another one. Obviously, that's more than half of Edmond North's points. And he does complete the 3-point play, so it's a 5-point game. But Norman still with a few seconds to work with here at the end of this first half. Billingsley will bring it down. Being guarded by Cravens. 5 seconds. Gets over to Randall. Randall will drive. Right-hand floater. This will count. Doesn't go, though. And that's going to end the first half. Well, a highly entertaining first 16 minutes. Norman has a 5-point lead over Edmond North at the end of 2 quarters. Jordan and I will step aside. We'll rejoin you in just a few minutes. Quick halftimes here at the Titan Classic. So it'll be literally just a few minutes, and Jordan and I will be back with you, and we'll get you all ready for the second half of action here in Game 2 of Day 2 of the 2025 Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes.
Call Rob and Will.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business, and always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell. Call them at 405-642-8558.
The Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit at Whataburger, available from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Only it's not that time right now, so it's not available. Instead, we must sit here until 11 p.m. watching footage of the flaky, crispy, buttery goodness that is the Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit. Once again, our desires are denied by, ooh, look, the Honey Barbecue Chicken Strip Sandwich. That'll hold us over till 11 p.m. What a burger.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Whataburger, please Brent back the Monterey melt. Brent back. Okay, yeah, message received. We're Brentfing it back. Grilled peppers and onions, 2 slices of melty cheese, and jalapeno ranch on 2 fresh beef patties. Brent it on. The Whataburger Monterey melt is back. We brumped it all right. What a burger!
Josh Calloway back with you at the Titan Classic. Just a couple of moments away from getting the second half started between the Edmond North Huskies and the Norman Tigers here from Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse. Game 2, day 2 of the 2025 Titan Classic. Want to remind you, obviously we have the entire Titan Classic on OSN as we have the last couple of years. Excited to be the exclusive broadcaster of the event. This is just game 2 of the day. We have 4 more for you on OSN still to come. Edmond Memorial and Collinsville girls will follow us here. That's a set for a 3 o'clock tip. Collinsville and Norman North boys coming up later at 4:30. Then the nightcap, Carl Albert takes center stage as Carl Albert and Sand Springs will go for a double dip tonight as they'll play girls at 6 and then boys to follow at 7:30. Tomorrow, a 7 straight games. That's right, we have an extra game tomorrow because the Del City Eagles on the boys' side are going to be getting into the mix as they will play 2 games tomorrow. The girls will get started against Collinsville, and the boys will do the same against the Cardinals to follow. Edmond Memorial and Sand Springs will play on the girls' side. Norman North Sand Springs at 2:30. And then Putnam City, Carl Albert girls at 4. Carl Albert Norman, 5:30 boys. And then Del City and Edmond North boys will wrap up the day tomorrow night at 7. And that's your full look at the schedule for tomorrow as a 7 straight games starting at 10 a.m. Jordan and I will be with you for that first game at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning as the Cardinals and the Eagles get the day started. Going to be a fun Saturday. Different format this year with the round robin format, whereas it's not a straight bracket. Obviously, your record comes first in determining who the champion will be. If somebody goes 3-0, nobody else is. Obviously, they're the champ. But we'll have some other wrinkles to determine tiebreakers, points scored, differential, points allowed, things like that come into play if needed. And we'll have to just kind of wait and see as needed on that. So here we go, second half at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse. Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray. First possession and a quick 3. Bobby Lewis 3 ball for Zayden Best, who has been the Huskies' offense today. That's now, I think, by my count, 16 points for Zayden Best. And he's got the Huskies back within 2. Scoop layup attempt will go here for the Tigers. That's Bo Billingsley. And the Tigers are back ahead by 2 scores, 31-27.
Billingsley did a good job there as I rejoined the broadcast. Driving left, but then shifting to his right, away from the teeth of the Edmond North defense.
Best from away, deep heat check, left it short. Rebound is loose and scooped up by Kalinsky. So the Tigers get the ball back, leading by 4. Just starting the second half. Glad you found us on a Friday afternoon. 2025 Titan Classic. Billingsley for 3, rims off. Rebound, pinballing around, ends up in the hands of Cravens. And he'll start the break for the Huskies. Brody Smith had a lot of room there, and Kalinsky just ripped it from him. We're going to get a tie-up. And the arrow favors the Tigers. That almost couldn't have even been a tie. I mean, you could have just let that play on. He just took that from him.
Yeah, you'd rather let that play on.
If you're Norman,
yeah. Then you get the next jump ball. Good play by Kalinsky. Smith has to realize that, yeah, you want to attack the basket, but the Norman players are right about to get there. It's better to shoot a baseline jumper perhaps from that spot.
Yeah, had separation to do so. Norman has it back, leading by 4. Billingsley on the wing, guarded by Cravens. And he overhanded the basketball. That's a turnover by the Tigers.
Not something you expect to see from a very sure-handed ball handler who,
yeah.
And he's talking to the ref about it, just trying to get an understanding of why it was called.
So Huskies get it back, trailing by 4. This game's had a few swings of momentum. As you'd expect, a high-level basketball game going to happen. And this is going to be a bad foul here on Amos, getting out and bumping Cravens here. Hadn't been a lot of whistles in that first half. The second foul on Amos. Neither team got the bonus in either quarter. I don't think either team really got all that close to getting to the bonus in either quarter.
That's how Norman likes to play defense, though. That's what they do. They will hedge on that high screen like they're doing again.
Cravens tries to get to Smith, but running it all the way was Randall, and he came and picked it off and starts the break. Right hand float in the lane. That's good. Nicely done by B.J. Randall, making that whole thing happen.
Now, I believe he didn't actually start the first half, Josh, when we thought he was. Maybe there was like a shoe problem because now he's starting the third quarter.
Played a lot of minutes still in that first half, and he breaks up this play on Copeland out of bounds. It'll stay down here with the Huskies.
He's actually had a really good game as B.J. Randall. In spite of not starting, it's like that was helping him in a way.
Cravens will fire. He had some room. Clackums. Bobby Lewis 3-ball for Chauncey Cravens. It looked like he almost was just kind of surprised at how much room he had. He said, all right, I'll fire, and then he hit it.
And normally when a player hesitates, they're open from three-point range and they hesitate, they usually miss. So credit to Cravens. He hesitated, but then he followed through with the shot and made it.
Back down to a one-score game, 33-30. That shot won't go for Combs-Pierce. Leads to a break for the Huskies. Brody Smith, kick out. Copeland for three in the tie. Halfway down. Boy, it looked good.
It's a very good find by Brody Smith.
It was. And Copeland has that smooth lefty stroke. It just rimmed out. And so Norman stays clinging to a three-point lead. Kalinsky on the wing, bounce underneath to Amos. Smith poked away from behind, and Cravens scoops it up. Get the turnover, start the break. Cravens racing down, hands off to Knoll. Knoll to the rim, layup is good.
We'll show that replay again. I think Knoll may have gotten away with the steps.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. It was kind of close. But they don't call it. It's all fair. 5-0 run real quick for Edmond North. They're back within one, 33-32. 4:24 to go in the third. Randall on the floor, guarded by Zayden Best, who's the runaway player of the game for Edmond North. If they win, he's been the lion's share of their offense today.
But they do have guys who can step up for him and score
heat up
if
in a
he
hurry.
cools off.
Billingsley in the lane. Kick out to Combs-Pierce. He'll go across and give it back to him. Midway point of the third, 1-point lead for Norman.
So Billingsley is going to now let Combs-Pierce create.
Guarded by Copeland. Gives up to Billingsley, who's watched by Cravens. He'll go to his left. Pull up at the free throw line. Now gives off to Kalinsky. Great find, and Kalinsky puts it home. That was a great pass by Billingsley to find the cutting man in Kalinsky.
He has wide vision, does Billingsley. He doesn't just see what's in front of him. His peripheral vision, he sees what's happening to his left or right. Really good at finding those cutters.
Cravens now being hounded by Billingsley. He'll back it out. 3-point game. Left side, Brody Smith. Underneath to Knoll. Watched by Kalinsky. He'll spin on him. We'll swing it around. Best pump fake a three. Step in. Take a long two. Front of the rim, no. Rebound pulled in by Combs-Pierce.
Good closeout on Best because he's been heating up. So get him off that three-point line.
Billingsley calling out some direction for the Tigers. 2:51 to go in the third and counting. Right side to Amos. Almost trying to get to the cutting. Combs-Pierce got caught napping. Best picked his pocket. Easy layup bucket.
Who else but Best? He has been tremendous this game.
Oh, yeah, been everywhere.
Just completely snuck up there on Amos.
So back down to one, 35-34, as these two teams continue to trade punches here. Billingsley shouting out some direction. Combs-Pierce on the right wing. Billingsley off a screen from Kalinsky. Rocket across, what a find. 3-ball for Randall, left it short. He knew it, so he came in to get his own miss, but it went over him. And it'll end up going out of bounds and back to the Huskies. That was another great pass by Billingsley, even though it didn't end up cashing in.
I'm going to nitpick a little bit and say you still want that pass a little higher.
Sure.
But, yeah, it was. Considering the degree of difficulty, that was a great pass by Billingsley.
Weaver back in for Edmond North. Also back in the game comes Cooper Shue, number 12, as they replace Copeland and Smith, respectively. Weaver at the top. Hands it off Cravens, goes to his left. Pull up from the free throw line. Cravens got the friendly roll. And Edmond North back in the lead by one.
Cravens shot that, and also it was a good shot because he knew that Weaver was going to have good offensive rebounding position if he missed it. And if had it rimmed out, Weaver probably would have tipped it in, or at least had a chance at it.
1-point lead for the Tigers. Step back three for Billingsley. Won't go. Rebound by Amos. Strong to the rim. Can't get the roll, though. He was all alone and just didn't finish it.
He was probably thinking about Weaver.
Don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
All 6'11" of them. Edmond North has the ball back, though, up by one. Here is Weaver. Picked up his dribble. Got to find someone to bail him out here. Does so to Cravens. Spin move on Billingsley. Fun matchup with these two. Final minute of the third. Knoll on the wing will work on his man here. Pull up with the left-hand floater. He gets the friendly roll. That rim being kind to Edmond North at this end. And the Huskies lead it by 3.
Knoll is heating up.
Oh, yeah.
He was quiet for quite a while. He's now getting comfortable against the size and athleticism of Norman. Again, they're probably a bigger team overall than Norman North.
Billingsley from the elbow swishes it.
That should count. That should be a three-point play because I think it's a foul as I believe that's for Norman. I forgot today. Amos was crashing the basket,
yeah, Amos
got pushed down.
bumped.
So someone else, so Amos should be shooting free throws, I think. No, they're going to say
it's going to just
Norman
stay at
keeps
this
the
end.
ball.
Yeah.
That's still pretty amazing. That's a 4-point play. They usually, at least
the shot does count. The shot does count.
Yeah, I thought when that happens, the player who gets fouled, even though it's not the shooter, will get a free throw. But that may not be a rule in high school, but I know that was a rule in the NBA.
So the bucket count is 38-37, and Norman's going to keep the ball on the foul on Weaver. So potentially a very fruitful sequence here for Norman.
Maybe a 4 or 5 point trip.
Yeah. Here's Combs-Pierce with the left. Blocked by Weaver. Had it pulled away from behind, though, but Craven's able to save it. Weaver, the big man, had a couple big blocks in this game now. Craven's racing down, finds Schuh in the corner for 3. Rims up. Weaver, the tip back try, no. 10 seconds. Norman still got the ball and has time, certainly, to try and get their lead back. 5 seconds for Randall working on Knoll. He'll drive at him. Pull it from the elbow, really contested as Weaver might have got a piece of that. And that was a really tough shot for Randall. And that's going to end the third quarter. Highly entertaining game, fun finish set up for us. Edmond North leads Norman 38-37. We head to fourth. Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
The Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit at Whataburger, available from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Only it's not that time right now, so it's not available. Instead, we must sit here until 11 p.m. watching footage of the flaky, crispy, buttery goodness that is the Honey Butter Chicken Biscuit. Once again, our desires are denied by, ooh, look, the Honey Barbecue Chicken Strip Sandwich. That'll hold us over till 11 p.m. What a burger.
All right, back at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse. Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Been a fun one. Edmond North and Norman, 38-37 lead for the Huskies as we start the fourth quarter in this boys bracket game. Both these teams are 1-0, so winner here moves to 2-0 and will be certainly in the driver's seat to try and win this year's Titan Classic. A turnover for the Huskies to start, not helpful to their cause, as it ends up in the hands of Billingsley, and Norman will have a chance going back the other way.
Yeah, Noel and Smith just were not on the same page there on that cut.
Kalinsky hands it off to Billingsley. He puts on the floor, strong to the rim. Bad pass, intercepted by Cravens.
Just great anticipation by Cravens there.
Yeah, read it all the way.
Billingsley would try to make that pass.
And now Cravens.
Fouled from behind, I think, by Billingsley.
Bump from behind. Shouldn't be a foul. Shouldn't be shots. Just going to be on the floor. Make sure we thank our second half sponsor, by the way, CK12 Designs. 1 Corinthians 13:8 says love never fails. Brought to you by CK12 Designs. Designers and builders of everything custom for your home, from custom cabinets to dining room tables. We do it all. Modern industrial and farmhouse designs. Come visit manufacturing facility 8209 Northeast 23rd Street or our downtown store 820 North Broadway in OKC. CK12 Designs. What's the whistle there?
Foul on the inbound play.
Amos, that's his third.
Second foul on Norman, too. Pretty early to get a second foul.
Brody Smith off the inbound. Layup attempt won't go. Amos rips down the board. We mentioned that was his third a moment ago, so potentially noteworthy there. Keep an eye on that. Certainly a big part of what Norman likes to do. Their biggest player at 6'6".
Yeah, he's a good, skilled post player, too.
Norman has the ball back, down by 1. Billingsley got some room. He'll fire away from 3. Left it short. Rebound, though, B.J. Randall. Randall to the rim. Got it, and the foul. B.J. Randall. He may not have started, Jordan, but he's been the guy making it happen today. A big bucket there and a free throw coming.
He may not start, but he will finish.
Yeah.
And literally, I would be shocked if he doesn't finish this game if it's close.
He's been tremendous. I think he's moved himself into player of the game positioning if Norman were to win. And he completes the three-point play at the Toonie Bice House's Cherry Stripe. And now Norman back ahead by a deuce, 40-38. Cravens brings it down for the Huskies. Copeland, the freshman, to the senior Smith. Now Best, who's had a huge night. Bounce pass to the cutting. Copeland lays it, and he's fouled by Zielinski.
Now, these teams are just so good at knowing when to cut along the baseline. And again, that's coaching. That's intelligent players. Even the freshman knows when to cut along the baseline. Copeland, he's a tremendous talent.
He really is. Zielinski, the foul on Copeland, and now he completes the three-point play. So the two teams trade old-fashioned three-pointers, and Edmond North's back ahead by 1, 41-40. Billingsley walks it down.
I don't know if fatigue could be a factor. Edmond North has a little bit more rest than Norman does.
And Amos just dribbled that one off his own foot. Credit to Smith, guarding him close, making it tough on him. But a turnover there for Amos. He's frustrated with himself on that one.
Yeah, if he didn't bounce it off his foot, I don't know if he would have gone out of bounds altogether. He didn't have a whole lot of room there.
Huskies have it back up by 1. Cravens gives it up to Best. Back to him. This matchup's been fun to watch all day. Billingsley and Cravens. In the corner, Knoll down the baseline, and Zielinski going to be hit with another foul as he kind of hip-checked Knoll going down that baseline. Norman's kind of piling up the fouls now. That's 4 on the Tigers. Third personal on Zielinski, but
maybe
that's bonus
check.
now.
Yeah, hip check, maybe a hands foul, like a hand check. So he'll come out. He's kind of like their power forward that does some dirty work. So Garcia Chacin, I don't know how you want to pronounce his name coming in.
It's like Attic Sanders 11 in the game. We saw him earlier.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong number. Yeah, one below.
There you go.
Yeah, Attic Sanders was the emergency starter for Norman.
So Edmond North's in the bonus the rest of the way. Could be highly noteworthy down the stretch here. We'll keep an eye on that. As Billingsley pokes away from Cravens, he's able to save it on the timeline. And a timeout. And that's why Scott Norris is a really good coach. The wherewithal to slide that in. These two teams have not been taking timeouts today. That's Edmond North's first of the day, and it is a full. So 5:37 to go. We'll take it 2. Huskies by 1. Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
Call Rob and Will.
Back at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse, Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Been treated to a good one here this afternoon. Edmond North leading Norman 41-40 with 5:37 to go in this Day 2 tilt, 2025 Titan Classic. Huskies have the basketball.
And that was a good timeout by Coach Norris, like you said, in part because Edmond North had not fouled or not called any timeouts yet, so he had the full 5 to work with.
Cravens will do the inbound here for Edmond North. Does so to Best on the sideline, able to get around Combs-Pierce. Best all the way to the rim. Left-hand layup won't go, but hitting a foul. And that's 5 on Norman, so they were in the bonus anyway. That would have been foul shots either way, but the fouls just continuing to pile up on Norman here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, Sanders gets called for the foul. He was too far to the basket, so that's why he didn't get the charge.
So Zayden Best heads to the Toonie by his house's cherry stripe with the Huskies leading by 1, and he can add to it, and he does. Been a huge day for the senior Zayden Best. Weaver back in. He'll replace Smith.
I'm curious to see how many minutes Weaver gets down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think he's had a better game than Smith in this game. Smith was awesome yesterday for Edmond North, so you couldn't go wrong with either one.
Second one for Best will go down. So the lead for Edmond North, back to 3 at 43-40. Billingsley brings it down for the Tigers. Combs-Pierce on the right wing, handed off to him. Amos, hand to Billingsley at the elbow, finds the cutting Sanders, and Weaver sends that one sailing out of bounds. That's another huge block for Weaver. He's going to rim protection. Get a 6'11" guy off your bench. Yeah. That's a way to do it.
Sanders made a good cut, but the lane was so clogged that it would have been good if he just could have kept dribbling along the baseline and reverse sides there.
So Norman does keep the possession as that block went right out of bounds on the baseline. So Norman keeps it. This is Gideon Holt handling the ball as we hit the final 5 minutes. Billingsley being watched by Cravens. These two have been going at it all day. He's going to go at him, and he slipped. Just lost his footing, put up a wild shot. Kalinsky somehow managed to save it and buy Norman another opportunity. Amos in the corner. He's going to put it on the floor and go right at Weaver. Just bullies past him. Can't get to go, but he's hit and he's fouled. So some free throws now coming for Isaiah Amos as Weaver will get hit with the foul. I think that's going to be his third. Yes, his third. Just the team's second, though. But it is free throws for Isaiah Amos.
I was about to ask when Norman will go back in with Combs-Pierce. I promised I was going to ask that, Josh, because now there he is. But he's definitely one of the players you want finishing for Norman because he can score in a variety of ways.
First one good for Amos at the Toonie by his house's cherry stripe. Every point very key now down the stretch of this thing as the possessions start to become limited with just a little over half a quarter to go. Second one will fall for Amos, so back down to a 1-point game, 43-42.
Now for Norman, it's important that they defend without fouling. They want to play physical defense. You just got to know how to do it without being too handsy or too much contact.
Best in the corner for 3, left is short. Rebound pulled in by Billingsley. Norman can take the lead with a bucket.
By the way, you saw Combs-Pierce do that. He was staying with his guy off the ball, but he had his hands up, and it's just going to be hard to call a foul on a player like that. He did a good job of making sure that the ref saw he wasn't fouling.
Billingsley going to fire from way deep. Side of the rim, no good. Rebound pulled down by Knoll. So an empty trip there. Missed opportunity to jump in front for the Tigers.
Billingsley's done a lot of good things. He hasn't shot well this game.
No.
We'll see if that comes to him. Maybe playing, the second game in as many days.
Knoll underneath off the good feed by Best, but he got blocked.
Amos.
Start the break for the Tigers. Billingsley lost it from behind, and it's going to be Edmond North ball. I thought that ball was poked out by Cravens, but it must have went off of Billingsley last.
And he's one of those players, is Billingsley, who doesn't come out of the game much, if at all. And I'm sure he's got great conditioning, but,
yeah.
Second game as many days. I wonder if he's a little fatigued.
So Huskies get it back. Up by 1. This back and forth affair. Weaver on the wing. Watched by Amos.
A bad switch.
Could try going underneath to Knoll, and
so what happened there,
floor.
Billingsley and the post player, Kalinsky, they did not need to switch on that screen, but they did. So Knoll was being guarded by Billingsley, and Edmond North rightly attacked that mismatch. It's a bit of a size mismatch, and Billingsley gets called for the foul. Only a second, but you hate to do that because of the foul situation, the team foul situation. So Norman, I think the mistake was they did not have to switch on that screen, even though the free throws missed.
Yeah, in bonus, so this is obviously 2 foul shots, and Noel misses the first one. We talked about that X factor potentially down the stretch here with Norman getting Edmond North into the bonus so quickly. But you got to cash into the line. Noel makes 1 of 2, so the lead goes to 2 at 44-42. 3:15 to go.
So again, Billingsley may be a little tired. Combs-Pierce will now set up the offense here. Billingsley will still be involved. Of course, he's going to play the wing here.
Billingsley gets around the left side, kick out right side to Brandel. 3-minute mark. Amos on the block with Weaver. The big men battling. Going to go at him. Left-hand shot won't go. Noel rips down the board. Lost the handle, though, out of bounds. It'll stay down here with the Tigers. So that Kalinsky bothered him just enough to where he lost it out of bounds. Last touch by the Huskies.
I don't know if that's a good matchup for Norman. Amos being guarded by Weaver. That's going to be a very tough shot. If Amos has any advantage on Weaver, he needs to get a little farther away from the basket and then try to outquick him.
Yeah. Billingsley will inbound. We have a whistle before the inbound on.
Timeout? Oh, yeah, there's a foul.
It's on Edmond North.
I thought they were about to call an illegal pick on Amos, but they didn't, and now the fouls are about to even up.
It's on Best. That's his first, and just still at the team third, so they still have another one to give before Norman gets into the bonus, where Edmond North already resides.
Both teams have 4 timeouts. I would start using them here if you're not comfortable with your offense.
Billingsley to the left, splits the defenders. Nice moves from Billingsley under the rim. Skips it over to Kalinsky, who finds Amos, who lays it home. Some nice passing there by the Tigers, and we're all square, 44 apiece.
Yeah, Kalinsky, he's a nice player. He doesn't look to score much, but he makes a lot of plays other ways. He contributes in a lot of other ways, both passing and rebounding.
Here's Best. He'll pump fake, now put on the floor at the elbow, and now he'll back it up. Copeland in the corner.
Noel has a smaller guy on him. I think that's Randall. Let's Combs. Yeah, it's Randall.
Noel's going to go at him, and he didn't finish it. Got a decent-looking shot there, but just a little too strong.
It's amazing, Josh. Read the 2-minute warning of a tie game, and both teams have 4 timeouts.
I know, only 1 each way used so far by these two coaches. Billingsley from the free throw line. Oh, that's butter by Bo Billingsley. Really pretty step-back jumper. And the Tigers are back ahead by 2 with 1:51 to go, right on cue. There's a timeout. It's a full. We'll take it 2. Norman by a bucket. 1:51 to go in the Titan Classic.
How can you describe Whataburger's honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich? The chicken just has a certain... And then there's the sauce that just gives you a little bit of... And the cheese, it's the exact right amount of... It's almost too hard to put it into... Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. The honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich at Whataburger. Just like you like it.
Back to Carver Titan Fieldhouse. Josh Alloway, Jordan Ray on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Want to make sure, again, we thank our presenting sponsor of the Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network, which is J.R. Rowlett Realty. Let J.R. Rowlett find your perfect home today. Call them at 405-445-8971.
So Corey Cole, the head coach of Norman, wanted a timeout after that made basket. He wants his defense set up for something. But, of course, Scott Norris is going to diagram something good for Edmond North, I bet, as Smith is back in for Weaver.
Huskies with the ball down by 2. Here's Copeland, the natural lefty. Great find to Cravens for a 3 on the wing. He left it short. Rebound pulled out to Randall. That was a great play and a good look for Cravens. He just didn't hit it.
So when does Coach Norris want his team to foul, or does Norman even try to run clock here or just run a normal offense?
Billingsley moving to his left. Like you said, clock now a friend of the Tigers. Can Edmond North force the issue and get a turnover, a stop, something? Because Norman's not going to be in any rush. Billingsley, spin move at the elbow. Kick out in the corner to Combs Pierce, down the baseline. Finds Randall across. That was a little bit scary for Norman, but they somehow saved the ball. We're into the final minute now.
The guards for Norman are doing a good job of trying to make something happen, getting in the paint, but then resetting if they need to. As we got a foul by Edmond North, so no free throws yet for the Tigers.
That was their last one to give. It goes on Copeland, his second.
I think Coach Norris wants to wait before he has his team foul again. We'll see. But this has been a good possession for Norman because they get into the paint with one of their guards. They don't have anything. They get back out of the paint without turning it over.
So Tigers have it, still leading by 2, and Copeland's going to foul Combs Pierce in the backcourt here. And this will be free throws, so some big ones coming up. A lot of times these close games boil down to can you make your free throws. And here comes Montrell Combs Pierce with 2 big ones with 46.5 seconds to go. Third foul on Copeland. First one rolls off, but they're going to say, I think.
He stepped over the line.
He stepped over.
So it wouldn't count anyway if he made it, but he didn't.
That's silly anyway, but it's the first free throw, so you can't. There's no rebound to get anyway. Now he missed it, so
I think he was off balance. I don't think he did it on purpose.
Missed them both. Rebound out of bounds. It'll stay down here with the Tigers. Ouch.
Again, they couldn't seal the Norman bigs as well as they needed to. That's where you wonder if Weaver would have done a better job of that, but Smith and Knoll just didn't box out as well as they needed to there.
Kalinsky out, getting Holt in to do the inbound there, and he does find Billingsley. Now, how does Edmond North play this now? Are they going to foul? They probably don't want to foul this guy, Bo Billingsley. Here's Holt now with it.
Yeah,
They're
right.
going to foul him. So he just came into the game cold. Obviously, Gideon Holt off the bench, so I guess maybe that's the thought process with 34 seconds to go.
Yeah, you didn't have to foul Billingsley right away. And if you guard him, Billingsley has to get rid of the ball eventually, or the 5 count is called.
So here's 2 big free throws for Gideon Holt. He's got the first. Also, you wonder, he just subbed in for Kalinsky. You wonder if Coach Corey Cole getting a better free throw shooter in.
Yeah, he wasn't going to have a bad free throw shooter in this time. You know that.
Yeah. He hit them both. Very calmly hit them both and right back out as Kalinsky will come in and replace him. So it's a 4-point lead for Norman. Edmond North, again, these teams got a lot of timeouts, so they have a chance here to get a bucket and then take a timeout. You don't want that clock to run, but they got to go. Cravens here underneath to Knoll on the block, working on Kalinsky. Turnaround shot is good. That was well done. And just as expected, Norris takes a quick timeout with 21.1 on the clock as it leads back down to 2 at 48-46. It's a 30-second timeout. So back down to a 2-point game, Jordan. 48-46, 21.1 to go.
Well, first of all, I'm real impressed with Logan Knoll there. He's a lefty, but he made a very confident shot, a shot he had to make using his right hand. Now the question is, what do you do on defense? If you're Edmond North, what type of pressure do you want to try to apply? You want to make an attempt at forcing a turnover using your press somehow, or maybe just denying the ball man-to-man. You also got to talk about who you are willing to foul. They show they don't want to foul Billingsley. And interestingly enough, Billingsley will throw it in.
Probably don't want to foul Holt either with how calmly he just made those 2 a moment ago.
There's probably not a bad free throw shooter in for Norman right now.
I wouldn't think so. Billingsley will inbound it. Gets it to Randall, who slid on the car. That's a travel. I wondered if they were going to call it, and they do. So Edmond North gets the turnover they need, and they have the ball down by 2.
So we'll see some defensive subs for Norman. No offensive subs for Edmond North. And they're going to throw it in another basket. We will have a timeout. I was wondering about that. So we may see some subs or we may not. But Coach Norris will run a baseline out of bounds play out of this full timeout. He'll have his team run a baseline out of bounds play out of this full timeout.
Timeout, 2-point game, Edmond North ball. Stick with us. Fun finish here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Whataburger, please Brent back the Monterey melt. Brent back. Okay, yeah. Message received. We're Brentfing it back. Grilled peppers and onions, 2 slices of melty cheese, and jalapeno ranch on 2 fresh beef patties. Brent it on. The Whataburger Monterey melt is back. We brumped it all right. What a burger!
All right, back at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse. Here's the situation. Edmond North's down 2. They've got the ball. 21.1 seconds to go. The arrow favors Norman if there were to be some sort of a tie-up here, so keep that in mind.
Box set.
Craven's doing the inbound for the Huskies. Trying to
Adam.
get it to Knoll. He'll go to Smith. Smith to the rim. Block. Knoll. Tip back. Good.
Again with his right hand.
Tie game 48-all. Norman's got time. Will they take a timeout? Or are they just going to let this ride?
This Knoll guy's unbelievable. And we will have a timeout by Coach Cole.
8.2 seconds. Norman will have one look at the win here in the final moments. It's another full timeout. You want to take it?
No, let's keep it here.
8.2 seconds to go.
Real quick, I know we don't want to get our mind off this game too much, but coming up next, Edmond Memorial Collinsville, girls action. Edmond Memorial 1-0 after beating Dell City yesterday. Collinsville lost to Carl Albert, and they're going to play a little bit earlier in the day. And then Norman North, who Edmond North beat yesterday, will be the next game after that, taking on the Collinsville boys team. So they keep the Collinsville teams, the Sand Springs teams, and the Carl Albert teams together, you know, if you notice. And then back to this game here. You have to think Billingsley will be touching the ball if you're Norman.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he can find those cutters really well. So we'll see. In 8 seconds can be an eternity for that. If he dribbles to a spot, even if he picks up his dribble and he's still covered very well, he'll be looking for cutters. And if he doesn't have it, you know, Norman could call another timeout. That's the thing. These coaches save these timeouts, and now there's a lot of different ways you could use them.
Both teams with 2 timeouts left. Again, like I mentioned, the arrow favors Norman, so if there's some sort of tie-up here, the Tigers will keep the ball. That's important to note.
Billingsley will throw it in. He's getting instructions from his coach right now. And to think Edmond North's in the situation because of a slip-up, a literal slip-up, but that's what the game can come down to sometimes.
Norman with time. Here's Bo Billingsley. He falls down, able to get it up. Jumper here won't go. Rebound is loose. It'll go out of bounds. And we feel destined for overtime now unless they put more time back on.
Well, you may see we'll see first whose ball it is.
They're trying to decide whose ball it is. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but we have
okay.
0.2 of a second here.
I was going to say, if it's Norman's ball, they're close up to their basket, they could run something for maybe Amos.
Conceivably a tip-in.
It has to be a tip-in. I don't know what Norman can do.
You just got to launch it down there. Just make sure you get to OT.
Maybe draw a foul.
Oh, it goes in. It's not going to count. There's no way you could count that. Yeah, you can't count that. Yeah, you can't. You can't. I understand.
Coach Norris not happy.
No, a circus shot. There's no way you can count that.
He's not
you
arguing
just can't.
that much.
It's only 0.2 seconds.
The question is, was he fouled on the catch? That's
a viable question.
And they're going to say,
but with
not.
With only 0.2, it has to be a tip-in. You can't shoot the ball in 0.2 of a second, and he shot the ball. So it's very cut and dry. The shot's not going to count. But you're right. If they felt like there was contact, you could make that argument. But the same question applies. If you can't shoot, is there enough time to foul a guy on a shot if there's not enough time to shoot it?
Well, I assume in high school basketball it's the same as the NBA or college. It has to be 3/10. So there's 2/10. I mean, if there was just a little more time on the clock, that would have been an amazing ending. And for overtime, we're going to have J.R. Rowlett be our correspondent up top there.
There you go. Well, that was a circus play right there as Edmond North. It looked like he, for a moment, an all-time finish, but obviously, again, I never even got too excited on that because it's really cut and dry. Not enough time to shoot the ball.
You did kind of sound excited there, but no, I think you're right. It's just a weird situation because, again, if you foul on the catch, then,
yeah.
That's why you got to make an attempt at it. So credit Edmond North for even trying that.
Well, we're playing 4 more minutes. It's been a highly entertaining game, so why not? A little more action. We head to overtime, presented by J.R. Rowlett Realty, who is, of course, the title sponsor of the Titan Classic on OSN. We're going to play 4 more minutes.
We'll see if we get that next game off pretty quickly now. So we're going to have to scramble to get everything ready for the next game, but that's okay. This is some bonus basketball. It's going to be fun.
Bound to happen. Both teams in the bonus. Both teams get an extra timeout, so they have 3 now each, so that's not an issue. As we start the overtime period, tied up at 48 apiece.
B.J. Randall not in right now for Norman.
Here's Amos on the elbow, backing down Smith. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul here. We're going to go on Smith. Both teams are in the bonus, so Amos should get free throws here.
Well, I'm going to ask Tracy, do you know if you can hear me? He's a little farther away. Okay, so they don't reset fouls for overtime, and I actually should have known that, but I wasn't sure because I have not called too many overtime games since they changed that. I think I've only done 1.
And Amos hits the first one.
I take that back. I've done a couple, but so Norman retakes the lead. So that's something that both teams have to be very wary of. They don't want to commit any cheap fouls.
Second one will also go. So a 2-for-2 trip at the line there for Amos, and the Tigers are back ahead by 2, 50-48. If you tuned in late, better late than never here in overtime. Been a wild ball game, back and forth affair. We're playing an extra minutes. After Logan Knowles' shot tied the game in the final moments.
Not looking his direction yet. Now maybe they will now. Nope. Knowles got the hot hand.
Cravens over to Smith, guarded by Amos. Picks up his dribble, gives it up to Copeland. Copeland will drive down the baseline, and he's bumped and fouled.
On the pass, but it should still be shots.
Still shots, yeah.
Billingsley, I think, that was actually good help defense by Billingsley, but of course sometimes you're in the right spot, but you're still going to be called for a foul.
So the foul is going to actually be called on Combs Pierce.
Oh, you're right.
That's his second. And 2 big free throws for Copeland. They're all big at this point, as first one goes to the Tuning by His House's charity stripe.
Something to watch out for if B.J. Randall stays on the bench for Norman or if he comes back in because he's had a good game.
Missed the second. So it's a 1-for-2 trip for Copeland. The lead will stay with Norman as we move under 3 minutes here in overtime number 1. Billingsley trying to get some room off of Cravens. Goes to his left.
Good job by Edmond North resetting their defense off that screen.
Randall here to Kalinsky. Hand off, Combs Pierce in the corner. He'll go down the baseline. Fine across to Randall, gives it back. Norman in no hurry, being very deliberate here, trying to make sure they get a good look. 2.5 to go. Billingsley. Turnaround fade is good. Bo Billingsley. Not been a huge game for him, but he's had some really high-level shot making late in the fourth quarter and right there here in this overtime period. That was nice.
We got an Edmond North fan screaming for a travel, but I think Billingsley held his pivot foot.
I thought so too.
He's made a really good shot.
Here's Best driving tough to the rim. Not going to go, but he is fouled. And so some free throws now going to come for Zayden Best, who's been a little bit quiet in the fourth quarter after being just a monster offensively throughout the first half, certainly, and then into the third quarter.
And we apologize, we've had some video problems here, but we are able to reset it pretty quickly. It shouldn't happen at all, so our apologies, but we're going to get these free throws now.
Tuned by South charity stripe for Zayden Best with 2:07 to go. First one good.
It's such a high level of play in this game, though. And it's not just 6A. Maybe people might think that for us we normally call 5A or 4A games. It's 2 high-level teams. Again, Norman leads their district in 6A. Edmond North tied for second in theirs.
Like we said kind of off the top, these are two teams that if they're in the state tournament, it wouldn't really surprise anyone.
No, you expect Norman to host, and Edmond North might host. They have some work to do for that, but you expect teams to host to get to state. It doesn't always happen, but it mostly happens.
So he hits them both. It's back down to 1. Billingsley, floater, gets the roll. Bo Billingsley again just kind of taking over really late in this game as another tough shot, and the lead goes back to 3 with 1:46 to go. We have a timeout taken here, I think by Norman. And it is going to be a full. We'll go and take it too. 1:46 to go in overtime. Tigers by 3 on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Whataburger, please Brent back the Monterey melt. Brent back. Okay, yeah. Message received. We're Brentfing it back. Grilled peppers and onions, 2 slices of melty cheese, and jalapeno ranch on 2 fresh beef patties. Brent it on. The Whataburger Monterey melt is back. We brumped it all right. What a burger!
Back at Carl Albert Titan Fieldhouse, Josh Calloway, Jordan Ray on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Glad to be with us on a Friday afternoon for what's been the game of the tournament so far. Edmond North and Norman High. It's a 3-point lead for the Tigers. We're in the first overtime period, 1:46 to go. Then a back-and-forth affair, lots of momentum switches. Teams have kind of felt like we're in control for a stretch, then it flips. Nature of a really high-level good basketball game like we've had here today. Huskies with the ball, down by 3. Noel with the ball. He hit the shot to send us to overtime late in the fourth quarter. This ball's knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay down here.
That's close. By the way, we're keeping an eye on it just because he played so well, but B.J. Randall back in for Norman. Guarding Best, who's been the best player for Edmond North this whole game.
Hands off to Cravens. Edmond North deliberate, but time not their friend at the moment. Down by 3. 1:15 now to go. Cravens working with Billingsley. Gets it up to Best on the left. Best stumbling. Layup will go, though, anyway. He's just been so good. Another tough layup there. Cuts it back down to 1 as we hit the final minute.
I love that possession, though. I don't think you're worried too much about time yet. Now, Billingsley on the other end for Norman. He's been really good at maintaining control here, getting in the paint, only taking a good shot for him.
There's Billingsley backing it out.
Now they're going to stall. We'll see if he gets fouled.
Cravens guarding him close. Billingsley in the lane. Tie-up. Arrow with Edmond North.
It looked like they were trying to stall for a bit. Then Billingsley attacked the paint, which he did the previous 2 possessions very well. But Edmond North closed in on him well. He stopped, and Edmond North just did a good job getting their hand on the ball. That's the risk you take when you're aggressive. And now Edmond North can take the lead.
So Huskies have it back, down by 1 as we hit the final 30 seconds here in overtime. Cravens guarded by Billingsley. To the top, Zayden Best, who's been their go-to guy from the free throw line. Back iron, no whistle. North was hoping for it. Copeland steals the pass, but it's
dribbled off his foot.
Dribbled it off. I think it was the foot of Kalinsky. Either way, it's a turnover, and the Tigers have it back with 15.3 on the clock and a timeout taken by Coach Corey Cole and the Tigers. That was a hectic sequence.
I think Coach Cole won that timeout just because, like you said, it was hectic. You call that timeout to secure possession, and then you can get your best free throw shooters in as well. And I don't know if Edmond North is the type of team that can, do an effective pressure and trap and try to force a steal. They will try to force a steal, but the only key for Norman is don't repeat what happened at the end of regulation where they caught the inbounds pass and then they slipped and got called for a travel.
So Norman will be inbounding on the far side of the court here. And Billingsley will do it.
So Norman's down to 1 timeout.
Good to know.
You don't want to waste that if this inbounds pass is hard to make. You need to make this pass.
Arrow favors Norman if there's a tie-up. Inbound goes to Randall, does not slip this time, and he's fouled immediately by Best.
So that was
so
very easy.
2 huge free throws now obviously coming for B.J. Randall.
It's very easy for Norman because I don't think Edmond North, they have a lot of strength. They're not really a high-pressure team, and they didn't really try very hard to deny that basketball.
So B.J. Randall, tuning by his house at Cherry Stripe, some big free throws, and he sinks the first one calmly. Lead back to 2. And now if you make this one, you get back on the whole conversation of if you're Norman, do you foul? How do you play that? Where the clock is, that becomes a conversation if he makes it. And he does. So the lead goes to 3. Edmond North's got 3 timeouts, by the way.
Yeah, I would get across the timeline and call one, and Billingsley should not let him roll the ball as much as he has.
It's saving a lot of time here.
I'd be closing out. I don't know why Billingsley lets that happen.
Now Cravens picks it up. No timeout taken yet. 10 seconds. Edmond North needs a triple to tie. Cravens in the corner to Copeland. Got to put it up. 5 seconds. Cravens got to fire a prayer shot. Air balls is short. It's going to go out of bounds, and Norman is going to get out of here with a thrilling win, barring catastrophe here in the final 0.7 of a second. Just got to get it in clean, and that'll be all she wrote.
I'm surprised Coach Norris did not call a timeout.
Me too. I kind of was waiting for it,
now,
and never came.
They may have had some play they were trying to run, and maybe Coach Norris thought they got fouled. He's telling the ref something that he's not happy with.
Yeah, just get it in clean, and that's it.
That's the game.
What a ball game. Norman, who had the lead late in regulation. Edmond North, a heck of an effort to rally and tie to send to overtime. But the Tigers, give them credit, settle themselves back down and get right back out in overtime, and they find a way to get the job done. All right, quickly, because we got the next game coming up. Triple Elite screen printing player of the game. I think we're in agreement, B.J. Randall. He was tremendous in the second half of this game in particular. Just made big play after big play down the stretch. Even hit the 2 free throws there to kind of help seal the deal. So our Triple Elite screen printing player of the game, final world-class designs and hot new styles, goes to B.J. Randall. So Norman moves to 2-0 now in the Titan Classic. Edmond North falls to 1-1, and Norman certainly feeling good about things as they go into Saturday at the 2-0 mark. They'll take on the host squad tomorrow night, Carl. That could almost be a de facto championship game tomorrow if the Titans take care of business tonight against Sand Springs. All right, we'll step aside. Got quick work to do. Tracy Musset's going to slide in here for me alongside Jordan Ray for Edmond Memorial and Collinsville's girls coming up. That's going to be on a separate stream in about 10 minutes from now. So head on over there. We'll see you then. This has been the Titan Classic on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.